The winner is... Miranda Lambert.
That happened. That finally happened. But then this happened.
I have always loved that girl, but unfortunately, Miranda couldn't be here tonight because she's working overseas.
Well, ain't that a real kick in the shins? I'm Billy Dukes, and on Twitter I tweeted about Miranda's win, and a guy named Tim had a response that's not wrong. Miranda is the record holder with 37 lifetime ACMs. She could literally lose a couple and not know about it. Since 2007, she's come home with hardware, and every year but 2, she once won 9 straight female artist ACM Awards. 9. So her Entertainer of a Lifetime status is solid, but you could make a case that someone else deserved Entertainer of the Year more in 2022. Don't get mad yet. I promise to explain why she did win and did deserve it, plus answer some other key questions about the 2022 ACM Awards on Amazon Prime, like why was it on Prime, and was the show any good? Plus, who really won the night, and who the next host should be, and more. What was your favorite moment? Was it Miranda winning? Was it Kelly Clarkson singing? Was it Morgan Wallen chest thumping?
Thank you, thank you, thank you!
Let's start a conversation below and be nice about it. No jerks allowed. Also, make sure to subscribe for more country music news and analysis, and away we go. It's not clear how many people watched the ACM Awards, but it was a lot less than normal because it wasn't on television. You had to watch it on Amazon Prime, which costs money and requires a real solid internet connection. This happened because the ACM's contract with CBS ran out, and they decided to get moving on the future of awards shows. Real talk, traditional award shows are kind of dinosaurs, and people aren't watching any longer. A 3-hour plus show filled with scripted celebrity back scratching is not where it's at, so they took it online, and if I'm being honest, there is some real potential here. I'm going to get into what the ACMs got right and wrong at the end of this video, because I know you're here to talk about Miranda Lambert's win and some other highlights, but if you want to jump ahead, there are time codes in the description section of this video that you can click on. I'll say this, there are 2 big changes that the ACMs need to consider, and one of them is the host. Miranda Lambert wasn't the only A-lister missing on Monday night. Luke Combs is the second Entertainer of the Year nominee who no-showed, but it was for a good reason. For about 3 years, they've had the C2C Festival on their calendars, and after that fest was canceled twice, thanks a lot COVID, they weren't taking any chances. The festival is coming this weekend in Dublin, Glasgow, and London, and a few artists who did appear are going to rush over pretty quickly. Ashley McBryde and Tennille Towns come to mind, but they're not headliners. To protect themselves, I'd bet the C2C Fest required a sort of bubble for some of the headliners, and really, can you blame them? So that's why Miranda's acceptance speech looked like this.
I've been waiting for this for a really, really long time. I actually never thought it would happen, but thank you so much to the country music family for embracing me all these years and continuing to support me and the Academy for everything.
Guessing that was pre-taped because it was about 3 a.m. where she was at the time. That's fine. Other parts of the show were pre-taped as well, specifically Luke Bryan's performance. He actually played Rodeo Houston on Monday night. The audio was remarkably good for an awards show, and several artists really starred. For my money, I'll take Kelly Clarkson singing Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You. I also thought Kelsey Ballerini and Dolly Parton were adorable, and Brothers Osborne's show closing performance with Brittany Spencer was tremendous. Credit to the show for working in a lot of classic songs with modern contemporary artists. I think this was a really smart move and a way to keep, that older generation of artists engaged. The best was Breland, however. He played a song called Praise the Lord with Thomas Rhett that'll put him on the map. This kid has great energy, an amazing voice, and songwriter chops, and he's a real student of music. There wasn't as much stage production at this year's ACMs, but they afforded them a 10-piece gospel choir that lit up the room. Well done, Breland. You deserved this, and I think he and 3-time winner Lainey Wilson won this night. On paper, it's kind of hard to say that Miranda Lambert had the best year. Remember, voters are supposed to vote on what happened in 2021, so I literally jotted down what each of these 5 artists did on paper. You can see all 5 anonymously here. I think the resume for number 4 and number 1 is probably the strongest. Only one of the 5 nominees dropped a mainstream country album last year, although 2 others released some side projects. In the case of number 5 and number 3, they were the second artist on a feature to get those sales marks. The point is, it's hard to make a clear case for number 3, which is Miranda Lambert. But, and this is a big but, people do not and should not vote analytically. Miranda's peak commercial years were about 8 years ago, and that's when she should have won 1, if not 2 or 3 Entertainer of the Year trophies. The country music community has a way of being kind of late to the party, however. We saw this in 2010 when Brad Paisley won Entertainer of the Year. We saw this again in 2018 when Keith Urban won, and we saw it big time in 2020 when Eric Church won the CMA Entertainer of the Year. Did Eric have the best year? I don't know, maybe. But danged if he didn't deserve one of these trophies just for being the boss. If I'm being honest, there was no clear and obvious winner this year, so Miranda's legacy points stacked up to put her over the top. And I'll add one more thing. Is there anyone in country music as important to the next generation as Miranda Lambert? She's not only an influence, she's actively shepherding the next generation to the party.
This one goes out to all the singer-songwriter girls out there that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into their guitar strings. We did it. This is for us.
That wasn't just chatter. Miranda is helping raise women who can come kick her out of this spot in 3 to 5 years, and you cannot say that about any of the other nominees. I'm sorry, you just can't. It matters. It gets votes, and it's why she's not only Entertainer of the Year, but for my money, Entertainer of the 21st century thus far. So this next part is a little bit inside baseball, so we dropped it at the end of the video. I hope you'll listen and watch, but if not, just throw me a subscribe and I'll be happy. Let's start with the bad. The venue was too dang big. All those empty seats were a really bad look, and the top of the crowd stage was just weird. I'd also suggest blocking out some of the daylight so it doesn't look like a baseball matinee. I mean, we really didn't need to see the Las Vegas traffic. As the show continued, you saw it sort of take shape as this rowdy, almost feral country music party, and that was exciting. Nowhere was this more obvious than when Kelly Clarkson started to sing I Will Always Love You, and you could hear hooting and hollering in the background. I'd love to see a pit reporter in there in 2023, mixing it up with these artists who might say or do something kind of funny. There's no FCC guarding this show. Loosen the reins up a bit, you know? 2 hours is perfect for an awards show, but let's not call it commercial free because at times it felt a little more commercial than a CBS show. Amazon promos count as commercials, and Dolly's performance with Kelsey Ballerini was sort of one big commercial. One final point I'll make here is that it's time to move on from Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire as hosts. They do a great job, but we've kind of used them up and we've heard all their jokes. Jimmy Allen was great on Monday. Gabby Barrett grew more comfortable as the show progressed. I want to throw a name out there for future years though. Remember, part of why Dolly Parton was host is that she connects to that older demographic. So too would Trisha Yearwood, and she's tremendous on television. Let's start the Trisha for ACM host petition right now. Where do I sign? I'm Billy Dukes with Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.